Welcome back to the Play by Play podcast YouTube channel, where today we are going to be talking about Andre Ward's recent call out of Anthony Joshua, why it's a bad idea, and to be frank, why Andre Ward would get absolutely demolished in a matchup against AJ. But before we get into the video, I want to encourage you guys to go down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Not only that, I want to thank you guys so much for all of your support on the recent episodes. We just recently hit 100 total subscribers. I couldn't be more proud. I couldn't be more happy. It's a small number for some people, and we have a small community, but slowly, day by day, video by video, we are slowly beginning to grow. So I want to thank you guys so much for your continued support, and let's keep it rolling. So go down below, hit that button. Your support means a lot, as well as commenting on this video, leaving a like, and sharing with your friends. And if you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on all social medias, that being TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Or on all those social medias, you'll get to hear my latest reaction to breaking news within the sports world. And without further ado, guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get back to the video. So if you don't know who Andre Ward is, at the time of his retirement all the way back in 2017, he was 32-0. He is a former unified super middleweight champion and a former unified light heavyweight champion. And at one point around 2016, 2017-ish, was ranked as high as number 2, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world. And listen, the dude was a really good fighter, a great fighter. In fact, he's one of the all-time greats, to be honest. Sure, he's not within, the top 25, top 20, top 15, top 10 list with guys like Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, and even guys like Canelo Alvarez and whatnot, the upper echelon of legends, but he still was a great fighter. And the crazy thing about it was he won majority of his fights. He won all of his fights without being very physically dominant in any of them. He never had big time overwhelming power. He was a very intelligent boxer. In fact, he wasn't even known for a lot of his shots to the head. He was known as more of a prolific body puncher, which is one of the ways that he was able to finish Sergey Kovalev in their rematch in their second fight. He had a really solid punch to the body. He orchestrated the ring very well, had great ring generalship with a great jab, and just had a solid ability to be able to counterpunch his opponent very well. Now, if you haven't seen what's been going on between Ward and Anthony Joshua, Ward basically posted a video, I think either on Instagram or TikTok or something, saying that he would be very interested to come back out of from being out 8 years out of the ring and being 41 years old as of right now. And if he were to make that return, he would like it to be against Anthony Joshua at Wembley Stadium. AJ then basically scoffs at Ward and basically responds saying Ward is simply trying to get a payday, right? That there have been people even theorizing on the internet that Ward might be actually going broke, which obviously there's nothing that proves that, and Andre Ward has continuously rebuked that over the past couple of days. Now, on the one hand, I completely agree with AJ, right? Not only do I think that this is Ward lunging for a payday, for a final payday for his career, but I honestly don't believe that this fight will end up happening, and here's why. First, Ward was already offered a massive payday to come out of retirement beforehand, and he declined that. After he retired in 2017, a couple months following the Canelo and Triple G rematch, and even after Canelo had finished Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight, with Canelo discussing about either moving up or wanting to stay at 175, a lot of people were building this idea of a Canelo Alvarez Andre Ward super fight. Ward basically shut down all the rumors right away, saying he wasn't interested in fighting anymore, that he was trying to preserve his body and his mind, and never even really wanted to entertain hopping into the ring with Canelo. And mind you, Canelo is smaller than Ward, and it would have been his first or second time in the light heavyweight division. It would have given Ward a pretty huge advantage. Ward at the time likely would have only been out of the ring for about a year and a half to 2 years maximum. And now you go back to AJ, who is an established 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, has faced the who's of the heavyweight division: Usyk, Dubois, Ruiz, Otto Wallen, Joseph Parker, Dillian White, Vladimir Klitschko. That is just the tip of the iceberg. I could keep going if need be. If this fight were to happen, I would be very, very worried for Andre Ward. He hasn't fought in 8 years. He would be 6 inches shorter than AJ. He has little to no power. He even had an operation on his right shoulder in the middle of his career, which has decreased his power even more. And he has never before even gotten close to the heavyweight division. For AJ's last fight against Daniel Dubois, he weighed in at 252 pounds. Andre Ward has probably barely sniffed 180. Like, that is the massive size difference that we are talking about. In fact, if we're being honest, Ward's best days were probably more at super middleweight, where he was in that big time super middleweight tournament with the likes of Chad Dawson and Carl Froch and guys like that. 168 pounds was really his domain. I mean, could you imagine Canelo, for example, going up to fight Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury? They would squash him like a fucking bug. There are weight classes in place for boxing for a reason, and it's so guys like Anthony Joshua and Andre Ward can't face off and there can't be massive damage done to the shorter man. And I don't want to hear all of this, Ward could potentially be the faster guy and he could, orchestrate the ring and box around Anthony Joshua and whatnot, because in what world with an 8-year layoff with no warm-up fight against a guy who's been facing killers give Andre Ward really any sense of a chance to be able to go in there and box? Speed is something that goes pretty quickly, especially with ring rust, especially with getting older. We've seen even Manny Pacquiao against Mario Barrios. Sure, he still had some speed in the tank, but he did not look nearly as fast as he did back in his prime days. Now, on the other hand of things, AJ has been entertaining a match with Jake Paul either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So if that fight is possible, then obviously I do have to say that an AJ and Andre Ward fight is possible. Another problem is that there is a lot more risk for AJ in a Ward fight than there is in a Jake Paul fight. In a Jake Paul fight, the money that AJ would make combined with a Netflix duo along with DAZN would be insurmountable, especially compared to a fight with Ward. Jake is much less skilled than Ward, even coming off of an 8-year retirement, and I would just be very, very surprised if that Jake fight happened, if Jake were to be able to make it out of 2 rounds. It's a guaranteed win for AJ and a guaranteed cash back. Whereas with Ward, how much money would that really generate? And if he does do the fight and Ward is able to, bite down on the gum shield and make it into the later rounds, or even pull off the impossible and make it to the end, AJ's legacy would be completely ruined by an old man whose legacy has already been established. And that's the other thing, is like, Ward has said that a loss to AJ would affect Ward's legacy. Fuck off. You would have everything to gain and nothing to lose out of it if you were Andre Ward. And honestly, going back to the money thing, what is the appeal to an Andre Ward? Like, 8 years out, when you look at his record, once again, his best wins are against Chad Dawson, Sergey Kovalev, who was at the end of his dominant run. And by the way, the first fight that he had with Sergey was razor thin. A lot of people had it as a controversial decision. And Kovalev knocked Ward down in round 2. If Kovalev can hurt you, AJ can knock your head off your shoulders. And Carl Froch, that's it. That's all Ward really has to his name. So will people even want to really watch that type of matchup? Is it a big name fight compared to a Jake Paul event? Absolutely not. And with AJ, we are really on borrowed time with him. So we need to do our best with the last year or even a couple of months that we have to either put him in the biggest fights possible or against some of the most elite in the sport. I want to see things like a fight with Tyson Fury. Sure, if they really want to do the Usyk trilogy, that would be fine. The rematch with Daniel Dubois. Get Deontay Wilder out there and let's finally finish that debate of who would win that fight. The biggest events possible for AJ. We shouldn't even waste it on a pointless fight with Andre Ward. But overall, let me know what you think down below. What do you think about this scuffle between AJ and Andre Ward? And if the fight does happen, how do you think it would go? If I had to give an honest prediction, I say AJ breaks him within 4 rounds, and it's not even going to be close. But let me know what you think down below, as well as subscribing, leaving a like, and sharing with your friends. And as always, following us on all social medias, that being TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those ads are going to be down below. And without further ado, guys, once again, thank you so much for all of your support on the episodes. I appreciate you guys so much. Let's keep this train rolling. Let's continue to grow. I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Have a great weekend, and peace.